World Wrestling Entertainment always wants to create moments for the fans, but what happens when WWE tries to trick us into believing that the moment is something real? But in reality, it's not. Over the years, there have been countless moments that we fans thought were real, even some moments that have crossed the line. Well. For now, I'll stop talking, and today I'm gonna show you 7 times WWE fooled the fans. We all remember when the WWE ring collapsed. I'm not referring to when it was Big Show with Braun Strowman or with Mark Henry. I'm talking about the first time on SmackDown in a match between Big Show and Brock Lesnar. The ring sounded really incredible, and the commentators were really going crazy, making us believe this was a total accident. Fans all over the world believed this was real, but no, World Wrestling Entertainment had rigged the ring for this exact moment. A real madness, even if it happens again today. We all know it's part of the show, but back then it was totally unpredictable and absolutely shocking. Alexa Bliss is someone who really fooled all the fans completely. She pretended to have a painful injury in her arm, and thanks to her double jointedness, Alexa can bend her arms in a really horrifying way. Even just watching her do a move like that makes us feel pain ourselves. At the Great Balls of Fire event, she stopped the match and urgently asked the referee to check her arm. Just as everyone believed her injury was real, she used her opponent's distraction to turn things around and attacked Sasha Banks. Later on, she would use the same arm injury again against Becky Lynch on SmackDown, and that way, she secured the victory. Although the superstars involved in this and the referee himself knew what Alexa was gonna do during the match, the first time, we fans didn't even suspect it. It was something truly shocking and hard to watch at that moment. But then we found out that it was all a trick by Alexa Bliss, who together with World Wrestling Entertainment blatantly fooled us. In an episode of Raw, Lance Storm faced William Regal, a match that was truly brutal between the two. But it made William Regal furious after he started bleeding. Regal unleashed his rage on Lance Storm, and his brutality in the ring was astonishing. However, Lance Storm's website from those years exploded with questions to find out if the match was really planned that way or if Regal had gone too far with Lance Storm in the ring. This would be answered by Lance Storm himself, who said that the match was planned to look that way. Even Regal's nosebleed was also intended to happen. At SummerSlam 2016, there was an incredible match, very violent by the way, between Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar. At one point in the match, Lesnar struck Orton's skull with brutal forearms, which caused Randy's head to split open. The referee called for the bell, and the crowd was in true shock, not knowing if what they were seeing was real or not. This ending to the event was so convincing that even Chris Jericho himself, after the match, he argued with Brock Lesnar after insulting him for hurting Randy Orton. That is, not even the wrestlers knew that this way of ending the match was planned. This is one of the real stories that World Wrestling Entertainment turned into the most compelling script in its entire history. In 1995, Shawn Michaels was at the peak of his career until he got into a real fight with Marines outside a bar, which almost cost him his life. He suffered such serious injuries that he was forced to relinquish the Intercontinental Championship. This incident left Michaels with 2 black eyes, a lacerated eyelid, and blood constantly coming out of his ears. But what did World Wrestling Entertainment do with this whole story? The company tried to give it a real angle and would turn it into one of the most realistic stories of that era. Since they saw that Michaels wouldn't be able to keep wrestling for the foreseeable future, they decided to remove him from the screen with a powerful kick from Owen Hart during their Monday Night Raw match. The arena fell silent as Vince McMahon appeared with doctors and an oxygen tube. Everyone's concern was real. Michaels was taken out on a stretcher, and the fans were worried because no one knew if they had just witnessed a real medical emergency. But that wouldn't be the only time World Wrestling Entertainment would use a medical emergency. In one of their storylines, in 2004, Eddie Guerrero would suddenly collapse in the middle of the SmackDown ring. At first, everyone believed it was a real heart attack. After trying to perform his classic move, nobody understood anything. The looks on the fans' faces said it all. However, all of this was created by World Wrestling Entertainment to make us believe that Eddie Guerrero was suffering the effects of the brutal match he had with JBL a few days earlier. And that's why his body kept reacting this way. But the truth is that all of this was premeditated and was done only to further increase the tension in the conflict between JBL and Eddie Guerrero. The love triangle between Lita, Edge, and Matt Hardy was absolutely real. Edge, simply put, took his friend's woman while Matt Hardy was recovering from an injury. However, what we all believed was that Matt Hardy invaded several days before on many occasions to attack Edge in a wild way. What we didn't know was that Matt Hardy had been secretly rehired to return to the company. Vince asked him if he was willing, despite everything, to work with Edge and Lita in a storyline inside the ring that would obviously involve the real-life issue. And Matt, I don't know if happily, but he ended up accepting.